The sleek executive floor of Steelitech Innovations felt like ice as Marcus Stella's words hung in the air. He sat behind his glass desk, his Patek Philippe watch gleaming under the recessed lighting as he looked at me with that uniquely condescending mix of pity and superiority that only privileged CEOs have mastered to perfection. "Look, Elena," he said, adjusting his cufflinks. "Your technical skills are impressive, but this is a client-facing position. We need someone who can communicate without any barriers. You understand what I'm saying, right?" My stomach tightened with indignation. I understood perfectly what he really meant. My name is Elena Nakamura, and at 38, I had just been fired from my position as senior project manager at Steelitech Innovations, supposedly because of my Japanese accent. Of course, I replied softly, maintaining my composed exterior while anger simmered beneath. My Japanese accent too strong for American clients? I deliberately emphasized my accent, watching Marcus's patronizing smile widen with smug satisfaction. What he didn't know, what none of them knew, was that I had graduated from MIT with highest honors, spoke 4 languages fluently, and currently ran a technology empire worth billions. An empire that was about to become extremely relevant to Steelitech's future. Exactly, Marcus nodded, visibly relieved he didn't have to be more explicit. We'll provide an excellent reference for technical positions. Perhaps some of the Japanese firms would be a better cultural fit for someone with your background. Behind him, David Patterson, the diversity director, shifted uncomfortably, his eyes darting to the floor. His shoulders tensed as he witnessed yet another of Marcus's cultural fit terminations. I gathered my belongings, my movements deliberately measured and slightly uncertain, exactly matching their expectations of a dismissed Japanese-American employee. "Thank you for opportunity," I said, bowing slightly, another stereotypical gesture that made Marcus lean back in his chair, clearly pleased with himself and his decision. Walking through the office, my project plans still sitting untouched on the conference table, I overheard conversations about the company's make-or-break project, a digital transformation contract with TechFuture, one of the industry's largest technology providers. Steelitech had been desperately pursuing this client for months, hoping to secure the multi-million-dollar deal that might save their struggling company. What Marcus didn't realize was that TechFuture was just one of 22 companies owned by Atlas Global Technology, my company. The same company that had been strategically acquiring shares in Steelitech through various subsidiaries over the past year. In the elevator, my heart racing with anticipation, I pulled out my phone and sent a text to my COO, Olivia Monroe, time to initiate Phase 2. Her response appeared instantly, board meeting confirmed for next week. Current share ownership, 47%. Perfect timing. I smiled, my pulse quickening as I thought about my meeting scheduled for later that afternoon, not as Elena Nakamura, the fired project manager with a communication problem, but as Catherine Bradley, CEO of Atlas Global Technology, one of the most influential technology powerhouses in the world. My driver, Raymond, was waiting outside in an unmarked sedan, not the Tesla Model S I typically use for high-profile meetings. "How did it go, Ms. Bradley?" he asked, using my professional surname. Precisely as anticipated, I replied in flawless English, my Japanese accent completely vanished. "Take me to Atlas headquarters. I have a meeting with the TechFuture board in an hour." As we drove through downtown San Francisco, my mind drifted to the journey that led me here. 18 years ago, I had arrived in America as a scholarship student, my heart pounding with determination to prove that brilliance transcends accent. While my classmates at MIT partied, I was coding through the night, developing my first AI algorithm in my dorm room. By graduation, my startup had secured $15 million in venture capital. But I quickly discovered the harsh reality: in the American tech world, a young Japanese woman with an accent faced immediate prejudice. The condescending smiles, the interrupted presentations, the assumptions about my capabilities burned into my memory. So I created Catherine Bradley, the enigmatic CEO who rarely appeared in person but whose decisions shaped the industry. The few who met me face to face knew only a powerful executive of Asian descent with impeccable credentials. My accent, when I occasionally used it, was subtle, suggesting international education at elite institutions rather than immigrant origins. My phone vibrated with an email from Marcus Stella to his executive team, addressed the Elena situation. We can now pursue the Tech Future contract without any communication barriers or cultural complications. My blood boiled as I forwarded it to my legal team, adding another damning piece to our growing collection of discriminatory actions that would soon become devastatingly relevant. At Atlas headquarters, I transformed myself, changing into a perfectly tailored designer suit. My assistant, Benjamin, briefed me as I prepared for the Tech Future meeting. Steelateca's stock has plummeted 18% this quarter, he reported, his eyes scanning the data on his tablet. They're staking everything on securing our contract. Without it, they're vulnerable to acquisition within months. Even sooner than they realize, I murmured, studying my reflection. The confident CEO looking back bore almost no resemblance to the supposedly incompetent project manager Marcus had dismissed that morning. The transformation was striking, from slightly hunched shoulders to commanding posture, from soft-spoken uncertainty to authoritative presence. The Tech Future board members, representing diverse backgrounds and nationalities, were already seated when I strode confidently into our modern boardroom. Ladies and gentlemen, I began, my English precise and commanding, thank you for joining me today. As CEO of your parent company, I'd like to discuss the strategic future of our technology consulting partnerships. For the next hour, I articulated my vision for streamlining our consulting relationships. The diverse board listened attentively as I explained the necessity of reducing our consultant roster from 22 firms to just 7 that truly embodied our values. What about Steelatech Innovations? Asked Helena Winters, the board chairwoman. They've been pursuing this contract rather aggressively for months. Ah, yes, I smiled, pulling up their proposal on the screen. I actually had a particularly illuminating interaction with their CEO just this morning. Unfortunately, I don't believe they align with our core values regarding diversity and truly global expertise. I played the recording of my meeting with Marcus, legally obtained in California's two-party consent state. The board members exchanged disturbed glances as they heard his condescending tone and thinly veiled discrimination against non-native English speakers. Well, Helena said after a moment, her brow furrowed with concern, I believe this makes our decision rather straightforward. Steelatech is definitely off our consideration list. But simply removing them from contention wasn't enough. My chest tightened with resolve. Marcus Stella had built his entire career on exploiting and dismissing international talent, hiding his discrimination behind euphemisms about cultural fit and communication clarity. My heart raced with determination. It was time for him to learn that in today's interconnected business world, true innovation doesn't speak with just one accent. Actually, I said, a surge of confidence flowing through me as I pulled up another presentation, I'd like to propose something more substantial. Atlas Global Technology currently owns 47% of Steelatech through various subsidiaries. Next week, we'll acquire another 15% from minority shareholders. I suggest we don't merely remove them from consideration, we take control of the company and transform it completely. The board members leaned forward, their eyes lighting up with interest. They had witnessed me orchestrate similar acquisitions before, each resulting in stronger, more innovative, and genuinely diverse companies. Marcus Stella may believe international talent is a liability, I continued, my voice steady with conviction, but I'm going to show him just how catastrophically wrong he is. Sometimes the most effective way to transform a broken system is to take the reins yourself. By the time I left the meeting, the plan was set in motion. Within 1 week, Steelatech would face a board vote they never anticipated. Within 2 weeks, they would have a new CEO. On my way out, I spotted Marcus Stella in the building lobby. He was there to meet potential clients, blissfully unaware that his company's fate was already decided. He looked straight through me, not recognizing the incompetent project manager with the problematic accent he had dismissed just hours ago. The irony made my lips curl into a smile. I felt a flutter of anticipation imagining his expression when he discovered who actually controlled his company. Sometimes the most powerful response to discrimination isn't direct confrontation, it's ascending so far beyond it that you can reshape the entire system. My phone vibrated with a message from Olivia: share acquisition progressing ahead of schedule. We should secure majority control by Thursday afternoon. Perfect timing. Because next week, Marcus Stella was going to learn that in today's global technology landscape, true power and innovation don't depend on how you speak, they depend on what you create. The following week dawned crisp and sunny in San Francisco. I sat in my sleek office at Atlas Global Technology headquarters, reviewing the final details for the StelaTech board meeting. The last share purchase had been completed overnight, bringing our ownership to 62%. Ms. Bradley, Benjamin announced through the intercom, his voice tinged with excitement, the board members are gathering in the innovation boardroom. I smiled, smoothing my custom-tailored suit that probably cost more than Marcus Stella's monthly mortgage payment. Perfect. How's our special guest doing? Mr. Stella is waiting in the reception area. He's visibly anxious and checked his watch 3 times in the last 5 minutes. Of course he was anxious. He'd received an urgent summons from TechFuture's parent company, a mysterious technology powerhouse that now owned the majority of his firm's shares. His company's future hung by a thread, and he had no idea who he was really about to meet. Let's not keep him waiting, I said, gathering my files with a surge of anticipation coursing through me. The Atlas Global Technology boardroom was breathtaking, a stunning space with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking San Francisco Bay, featuring a round table designed to eliminate power hierarchies. Around it sat some of the most influential and diverse executives in global technology. And at the far end, fidgeting with his tie and looking painfully uncomfortable, sat Marcus Stella. Thank you all for joining us today, I began in perfect, accent-free English as I entered the room with confident strides. I believe we should start with proper introductions. Marcus's eyes flickered toward me with mild curiosity, but there was no recognition in his gaze. My Japanese accent was gone, my posture and demeanor completely transformed. To him, I was just another powerful Asian American executive, probably someone he'd network with at industry events while privately complaining about diversity hiring targets. I'm Catherine Bradley, CEO of Atlas Global Technology, I continued, feeling my heart pound with exhilaration. As of this morning, we own 62% of StelaTech Innovations. The color drained from Marcus's face as realization dawned. His mouth fell open slightly as he gripped the edge of the table. His company was no longer his. This is completely irregular, he protested, his voice strained. I wasn't informed of any significant share acquisitions. Everything was executed according to SEC regulations, Olivia Monroe, my COO, assured him with cool professionalism as she slid a document folder across the table. Your shareholders were surprisingly eager to sell once they reviewed your last 3 quarterly reports. I tapped my tablet, bringing up a presentation on the wall-sized screen. Now, let's discuss StelaTech's future direction. We've identified several critical areas requiring immediate transformation. First, your hiring and retention practices. The screen displayed damning statistics, exceptionally high turnover rates among international employees, multiple discrimination complaints, significant salary disparities based on national origin and accent. These figures are being misinterpreted, Marcus interrupted, his face flushing. We have comprehensive policies regarding diversity and inclusion. Let's examine those policies in practice, I replied, swiping to the next slide. It displayed his email from earlier that week, addressed the Elena situation. We can now pursue the TechFuture contract without any communication barriers. Marcus's face reddened further. That was purely a performance-based decision. The employee in question lacked the necessary communication skills for effective client interaction. What a fascinating perspective, I said, deliberately allowing my natural Japanese accent to slip back into my speech. Would you care to explain that assessment to her directly? Confusion flickered across his face for a moment before shock dawned in his widening eyes. His mouth opened and closed several times, but he seemed incapable of forming words. Yes, Marcus, I confirmed, now fully embracing the same accent he had so contemptuously dismissed. That employee with communication barriers is standing right here, though I actually prefer my other title, your new CEO. The boardroom erupted in barely concealed murmurs and surprised glances. Marcus gripped his chair armrest so tightly his knuckles turned white. This has to be some kind of elaborate joke, he finally stammered. It's absolutely not, Olivia interjected firmly, sliding another document across the table. The board has already approved the leadership transition, effective immediately. Elena Nakamura Bradley is now CEO of Steelitech Innovations. You're being offered a position as a senior advisor, assuming you can meet our new cultural competency standards. For the next hour, I passionately outlined my vision for transforming Steelitech. My heart swelled with purpose as I described how we would become a truly global technology firm, celebrating international talent instead of forcing it into narrow American molds. The hollow cultural fit excuse for discrimination would be replaced with genuine cultural competency requirements and cognitive diversity initiatives. But our clients, Marcus protested, desperation evident in his voice. They expect a certain professional presentation. You mean they expect technologists who sound exactly like you? I challenged, feeling a rush of satisfaction. That's quite an assumption. Let's put it to the test, shall we? I tapped my tablet. Please send them in now. The sleek glass doors slid open to reveal a diverse group of executives, CEOs, and directors from Steelitech's most valuable potential clients. Many of them, like me, spoke with accents that revealed rich international backgrounds and global expertise. I'd like to introduce some of your prospective clients, I said, gesturing toward the newcomers. They've all committed to partnering with Steelitech under its new leadership. Apparently, they value working with consultants who truly understand global innovation from first-hand experience. Marcus slumped in his chair, utterly defeated. I could almost see the realization washing over him. Everything he had built his career on, his rigid assumptions about what clients wanted, his narrow beliefs about what constituted professional communication, was disintegrating before his eyes. You have a choice now, I told him, my tone firm but not unkind. Join us under the new structure and learn to recognize the value in the diversity you once dismissed, or accept a generous severance package. Either way, Steelitech will no longer be a place where accent determines opportunity or potential. The transformation of Steelitech happened with breathtaking speed. Within 6 months, we had tripled our international client base and doubled our market valuation. Our inclusive hiring practices attracted brilliant talent from across the globe that our competitors had overlooked. Even our existing clients marveled at the innovative solutions our diverse teams delivered. Marcus chose to stay, though I felt his struggle every day as he adjusted to reporting to the woman he had once fired for her communication barriers. His journey of confronting his unconscious biases became the foundation of our new leadership training program, Accent Bias in Tech, Recognizing Innovation's Many Voices. David Patterson, the former diversity director, flourished in his expanded role leading our global inclusion initiatives. I always knew our previous policies were fundamentally wrong, he confided to me, his eyes bright with purpose. I just never had the authority or support to change them. 1 year after the acquisition, I stood on the main stage at the Technology Diversity Summit, delivering a keynote about transforming company culture in the digital age. My accent flowed naturally, sometimes crisp and American, sometimes softly Japanese-influenced, always authentically mine. Success in global technology, I told the rapt audience, my voice filled with conviction, doesn't speak with one accent. It speaks with many voices, each contributing unique perspectives and innovative approaches that single-culture environments simply cannot replicate. In the front row, I spotted Marcus Stella listening with genuine attention. He looked transformed, humbled, certainly, but also more aware and present. Later that day, he would lead a panel discussion about recognizing and overcoming bias in technology leadership. After the speech, my phone buzzed with a message from Olivia. MIT's graduate school wants you to speak to their international students. Topic: Breaking the accent barrier in tech leadership. My heart swelled with purpose as I thought about all the brilliant young innovators holding back their true potential because someone had convinced them their accent was a liability. I felt a deep determination to rewrite that narrative for them. Just last week, I interviewed a candidate for a senior engineering position. She was extraordinary, with advanced degrees from top universities in Brazil and Germany, but she nervously apologized for her accent within the first minute of our conversation. The familiar shame in her eyes stirred something powerful within me. Your accent, I told her with genuine conviction, isn't a limitation. It's evidence that you possess something many technologists lack: a truly global perspective and the cognitive flexibility that comes from navigating multiple cultural frameworks. She got the position, of course, and next month she'll be leading our groundbreaking AI ethics initiative for one of our most influential clients. The former Steelitech offices have been completely transformed. The sterile, homogeneous environment has given way to vibrant, collaborative spaces. The halls now pulse with conversations in dozens of languages. Our client presentations proudly showcase rather than hide our international expertise and perspectives. Marcus still works here, though now he surprisingly leads our international talent recruitment program. I had to learn through painful self-reflection, he admitted during a recent team meeting, his voice carrying genuine humility, that my own biases were blinding me to extraordinary talent and innovation. In my office, I keep two meaningful items. First, the termination document Marcus gave me, framed as a reminder that sometimes the greatest opportunities arrive disguised as painful setbacks, and second, a handcrafted sign on my desk that reads, "Innovation speaks with many accents." Because ultimately, the most satisfying outcome wasn't humiliating Marcus or taking control of his company. It was transforming his narrow-minded tech firm into a truly global innovation hub where diverse perspectives are recognized as the competitive advantage they truly are. Every time I watch our diverse team of engineers and developers confidently presenting their groundbreaking ideas in their authentic voices, I feel a surge of pride knowing we've done more than just transform one company. We've helped shift the conversation about what true leadership and innovation in technology actually sound like. The most powerful response to discrimination isn't just to fight against it, it's to rise to a position where you can dismantle it completely. And the sweetest victory isn't in proving someone wrong, but in showing everyone a more excellent way forward.